wonderful time. Anyway, thank you so much for having us out.
Welcome. It's great we could all be here tonight with the giant, check. Keep the angle. Yeah. The giant stones, and tonight we have a full moon. So I hope that the Georgetown George Mason George Mason.
Here's a secret. Georgetown sometimes hires us to be their pet band.
The green machine with Dr. Nix. It pepped you up for the Republic tonight, Republic Undone. Good. So here, Ricky Gordon spearheaded our jazz music at the Spectacle last October, and Ricky came down from New York again today to be with Doc Nix and to talk about how we can put a larger full-body green machine together with some of the best jazz musicians in America. So for the fall, it's October 26th, and we look forward. The Stonehill Theatrical Foundation is committed to making spectacles the cutting edge in American performance art. So give a big hand for both of these guys. Howard Kuhn, tonight, as I said, we have a full moon, and Howard Kuhn is, we like to innovate and do something different every year. This year we're going at night, and we have, Howard has designed this light system, and we're going to put it in operation. So we're all very excited about that. Howard's part of a very talented citizen actor group that we put together. Colin Davies is going to play Woodrow Wilson tonight. We're going to have a lot of interesting actors tonight, and you'll see. We're blessed to have Rick Davis as director when Rick isn't heading performing arts at George Mason, and looking over Doc Nix and all these many talented people there. He's busy becoming and being the leading American citizen theater director. So Rick, it's all yours.
Oh, hello. Is this working? Okay. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you. It's a great privilege to share this grass with you.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't mean that the way it sounded.
Wait a minute.
They do that at Georgetown, actually. We had a wonderful afternoon today putting this play together. I don't know if you were looking at the radar, if you live in this part of the world, but we had a severe thunderstorm come right over this theater in the middle of our rehearsal, and we were smart enough to get out of the rain. But I'm just saying that because we lost about an hour of our rehearsal. So you're going to see things tonight that nobody has ever seen, which is terribly exciting.
Share the grass, I'm sure. We will.
Exactly, and it's so green. That's one point I want to make. But in a perhaps more serious vein, this idea of citizen theater, this idea of accomplished professional people from all walks of life, from all sides of the spectrum, of any spectrum you want to talk about, they're members of this company, and they're members of this group that John Henry and his collaborators have put together here over the years. And it is so exciting for me as a theater artist to engage with people for whom theater is not the most important thing in their lives, except when they're here doing this work, but who know the power of theater to engage issues, to raise questions, to tell stories, to evoke emotions that do attach to the most significant things in people's lives. And in this realm, I always harken back. Some of you have heard me say this before, so take notes. Or whisper in your neighbor's ear. This is what the ancient Greeks invented. This is why they invented it. They invented it in a space that looked somewhat like John Henry's amphitheater. They invented it with volunteers, with citizen actors, playing the great tragedians, playing the works of Aeschylus and Sophocles and Euripides. That was not a professional theater in the beginning. That was citizen theater. And they were doing it to tell the stories of the birth of democracy. They were doing it to tell the stories of what do you do when the gods do things to you that you don't understand. They did it to tell the stories of how are women and men supposed to relate in a civilization where the power structure is fluid and not clear. All those great stories from the Greeks are stories that we continue to tell. And it is such a thrill and such a privilege to tell a story of America that has a different point of view than the 9th grade civics narrative that we all learned about Woodrow Wilson and about World War I and about that seminal period in American history. And to tell it with these folks has been a real privilege. One other operational note. Well, first of all, those lights weren't flashing before the thunderstorm, but they are now, so we'll see what happens. They'll seem to be okay. This gentleman here, Hugh Hill, is an actor with his company, frequent actor. He normally doesn't occupy that perch with an umbrella to shade his work light, but he is going to be on book as a prompter in case one of the actors, because this is a new play and because of the thunderstorm and just because, so you might hear an actor call a line and Hugh will give him or her that line. Hugh is also the ninja factotum of our ensemble, so he'll be coming out to set a proper tune. You should just pretend he isn't there. Okay? He's not there. All right, very good. And I think that's the only other thing I have to say. Please locate the nearest exit in the event of a... Okay, never mind. And thank you all for being here. And thanks, Doc, for making our pre-show so beautiful. Ricky, great to see you. And thank you all. Now, we'll go back to the whiteboard and take it away.
Anointed me, America's King David. Providence has crowned me with limitless power. Americans are God's new chosen people. I'll destroy all the non-chosen. I'll compose the final chapter of his immortal work. Through me, God swings his mighty swift sword to save humanity from damnation. Heaven and earth are one. God renders unto me the things that are God's and the things that are Caesar's. I'll surpass both Jesus and Caesar. God wills me to crush anyone who resists my ambition. It's heresy to question my infallibility.
In one breath, you've used the word me and I more times than my friend George Washington did in a lifetime.
And who are you?
Don't you recognize the architect of the Constitution? I'm the ghost of James Madison.
You aren't on Mount Rushmore, but I will be. War should define America. I will be America's greatest president.
You are the serpent in the constitutional paradise I created at the Philadelphia Convention. Each individual marching to his own drummer. No dictators, no autocrats, no demagogues, no authoritarians.
If Washington or Lincoln had governed in peacetime, they would be completely forgotten.
I discovered the vaccine against mankind's deadliest disease.
Pray tell. Smallpox, measles, mumps.
Deadlier than the Black Plague.
Scarlet fever, whooping cough, polio.
War. Legalized first-degree murder.
I love presidential wars.
I entrusted the war power exclusively to the legislature. It has not been done in 3,000 years. My vaccine worked brilliantly. Congress refused to go to war unless the nation was attacked. Peace begot dazzling riches. The industrious and ambitious flocked to the United States from all around the world.
I airbrushed you out of my 5-volume history of the American people.
And I'll wear that as a badge of honor.
The unitary British government is best.
The British Empire is sinking faster than the Titanic. Prime ministers fight endless wars without parliament.
That's the glory of Britain. Congress cannot run an empire.
No civilized man exalts war. Calling it the white man's burden does not diminish its savagery.
I will elevate the presidency to the most powerful office in the world. My unchecked powers will replace the Star-Spangled Banner with Rule Britannia. Rule Britannia, Britannia.
You need psychiatric help. Let me repeat that. You need psychiatric help. What turns wives into widows? War. What turns children into orphans? War. What has fathers bury sons rather than sons bury fathers? War. What impoverishes the 99%? War.
Dying in combat is a sure ticket to heaven.
That's as improbable as a camel going through the eye of a needle.
You must...
If you don't get the war power right, justice and liberty don't have a chance.
You must enjoy shaving your legs every day. Dreading being dreaded is for wimps. It is better for America to be feared than loved. The president must have the authority to bomb anyone, anywhere, at any time, for any reason, and never have to say he's sorry. Patty Woodrow, you're the apple of my eye. Our love is part of God's covenant. You're ordained to marry me.
God shortchanged women by making Eve from Adam's rib.
Well, he had to start somewhere.
I don't want your headaches and insomnia and indigestion. You're Mama's boy.
You'll forget my shortcomings. All the world will know how special I am.
We're first cousins.
As they said in colonial Virginia, close enough to be sure, far enough away to be safe.
Food, wine, and sports and art excite me. God, oratory, and power excite you.
But opposites attract. My greatness will solve any problem.
I must be the center of a man's universe. You're the only one that counts. You sound better than you are. I can't love you.
Yes, we can. No isn't in God's covenant.
But it's in mine, Tommy.
Without an adoring wife, I'm lost.
You know both our fathers were Presbyterian ministers.
Helen, you are the apple of my eye. Our love is part of God's covenant.
That sounds as rehearsed as the Lord's Prayer.
No, these words are only for you.
You know, I like an ambitious man. I don't like bank clerks.
What is it in your father's footsteps that would lead you to think that that would be part of God's covenant?
Well, Dad shepherds the Presbyterian elect. He saves a few souls now and again, but that isn't enough for me. I want to save the world. All of humanity is my flock. I'll join politics and religion even more than Lord Gladstone, Britain's greatest Prime Minister. His picture has adorned my bedroom since childhood.
Well, Gladstone talked like Jesus Christ, but he ruled like Augustus. He made Britain into a larger empire than Rome.
Gladstone can't match my glory. A sparrow can't fall on the ground without my permission. And James Madison's checks and balances can't handcuff me.
But we need Madison's separation of powers because you men are governed by hormones. Power, money, sex, fame, and certainty. For all Napoleon's greatness, he lost everything in Moscow.
But Napoleon's tomb is Paris's most honored attraction.
Napoleon doesn't have anything to shine like Madison's Constitution, which has shined for a century past Napoleon's military victories.
Oh, you're more formidable than Wellington at Waterloo. But what's wrong, my love?
Before we go any further, I have to share a secret.
Of course. What?
A suicide in the family.
Who?
My daddy. He was so traumatized by combat in the Civil War, I just couldn't hold him together after Mama died.
I'm melancholic like your daddy.
Me too. Oh, dear Woody, I do think we understand each other. You could be my knight in shining armor.
You'll outshine Dolly Madison in the White House.
You know, Woody, God gave you eloquence. God gave you brilliance. God gave you industry. Well, God sent me to give you wisdom and judgment.
God blessed you with social graces.
I don't have time to worry about fashion. Listen, be a college professor. Study oratory and write a book about changing the Constitution. You'll get rave reviews and maybe lucrative speaking engagements at J.C. Morgan.
Oh, you're just like Mother. So intelligent, so supportive. So, what else do I need to do?
Look at me. You're going to have to lose your accent and develop a Yankee accent. The Civil War, taboo. Princeton was Madison's stepping stone to the White House. Princeton's presidency could be yours.
My son, you're disgracing our family. Now, for the 10th time, pronounce it correctly.
Mon lower.
No! No! It's lawn mower.
I'm sorry, Dad. I love you. I'm trying my best.
It's lawn mower. Now say it correctly.
Mon lower.
Ah! You're a failure! You...
Where's my beautiful child?
He's learning to read.
I heard Tommy crying.
He's 11 and he still can't read.
He's a child. You're making him feel inadequate and worthless.
Well, he needs to be made of sterner stuff. Just like tempered steel. The more he's beaten, harder he'll become.
Tommy's traumatized when he disappoints you. He's too terrified to learn.
Don't turn Tommy into a mummy's boy, eh?
Come, sit on Mummy's lap. Why the tears?
I'm the only 5th grader who can't read. I keep angering Dad. I'm a loser.
Don't say that. Everything will be fine. You can do anything you put your mind to.
I've got constant headaches.
Here, these will help. These should help. Take one of these pills every time you feel a headache coming on. You know what else will have? A bowl of my homemade soup. I'll go get you some. There you go. Eat some soup. It's good for your digestion.
With you, I feel the strength of Samson.
It's time to learn God's covenant.
What's that?
The chosen people make war against the unjust. God told Samuel to kill the Amalekites. Utterly destroy all that they have. Spare them none. Slay both man and woman, infant and suckling, ox and sheep, camel and ass. 1 Samuel 15. Moses didn't shed a tear over killing 500,000 firstborn Egyptians. God has chosen America to rid the world of evil. Oh, praise be to God, Tommy. Your reading fills me with pride. Now, I can make you a master orator that eclipses both me and Demosthenes himself. When Demosthenes spoke, after his
I'm lucky you're my father.
practice makes perfect. Make 10,000 speeches.
I'll imitate the repetition, symbolism, and alliteration of Demosthenes.
Orators, great orators, excite emotion. Remember this. Humans are hormonal, not cerebral.
I'm honored by your presence, Mr. Carnegie.
I'm the richest man in America.
Your riches can make Princeton the greatest university on earth.
Every college president like you courts me.
We must rebuild Princeton after the great British universities, the quad plan of Oxford and Cambridge.
Elite university graduates administer empire. You championed the Spanish-American War. Cuba was just an excuse to invade the Philippines, Guam, and Puerto Rico. You supported waterboarding.
It's the white man's burden to rule over the non-chosen people. Rudyard Kipling's poems have always been close to my heart.
True Americans should reserve that sacred space for the U.S. Constitution. Madison's genius was to assign the war power to Congress, the Labrador retriever who stays at peace unless attacked. Congress won't go abroad in search of monsters to destroy.
With respect, Mr. Carnegie, you are wrong. The war powers should be entrusted to the branch of government with the personality of a pit bull, always sniffing around for a country to attack. Only the president has that energetic and bellicose personality.
America's future is the march of the mind, not the march of the foot soldier. I'm dotting America with public libraries. Without constitutional literacy, our republic is doomed.
It's what?
Doomed.
Doomed, doomed. Only a muscular American military can save humanity with the barrel of a gun.
Our salvation is peace. The Constitution's declare war clause has made us rich beyond the wildest dreams of our founding fathers. I did not found the steel industry to underwrite wars. I left Scotland to get rich.
How about a football stadium called Carnegie Coliseum? Grander than Harvard and Yale. I hate football.
Same as lions eating Christians in the Roman Colosseum. Only savages exult in brain gas. You stop pestering me. I'll build you a lake for crew. Rowing is harmless.
And we'll call it Lake Carnegie.
Ever since Margaret and Jessie and Eleanor fled the nest, I feel worthless.
You should be beaming. You've raised 3 lovely daughters.
I'm just a little extra in your motion picture spectacle.
But there's room for only one lead actor.
You know, I think we need a little space. Why don't you take a trip and give me space?
That's a fine idea. Separate vacations will strengthen our marriage.
Great minds think alike. Here is your ocean liner ticket. Here's a little picture of me to remember me by. And here is a hat to keep you warm.
Mary Peck. I love Bermuda in the winter. Your dinner parties are intoxicating. You're a greater listener than Mark Twain is a humorist.
Come down and see me sometime.
I'll do just that every chance I get. Ellen and I agree separate vacations are best.
Let's put Ellen's picture on the mantelpiece. You have it in your pocket, don't you?
Yes, I do. Thank you. Oh, that does make me feel better.
Your pioneering quad plane fascinates me. You're really on to something with your soaring ideas about limitless presidential power.
Well, here's my present for you. My favorite Gladstone biography.
I love talking about Lord Gladstone.
Only fools deny the world is run by mankind's conscience.
You are more brilliant than the Constitution's claims. Who says men aren't angels? The hell with little Jimmy Madison. He can't hold a candle to you. On our beach walks, I thrill when you recite Shakespeare.
If it be a sin to covet honor, I'm the most offending soul alive. We few, we happy few, we band of brothers. For he today that sheds his blood with me shall be my brother. And gentlemen in England now abed shall think themselves accursed they were not here, and hold their manhoods cheap, while steady speaks who fought with us upon St. Crispin's Day.
My darling, wonderful. You're my Henry V. Fight for honor. Fight for empire. You'll move across the pages of poetry and romance.
My quad plan is in danger.
I'm sorry.
My faculty enemies turned against me. Even my best friend has joined my Princeton faculty enemies.
I am sorry.
You're either for me or you're against me.
Woody, come sit by me. You begin to sound like your daddy, all wrath and vengeance. You're better than that. There are no good guys and bad guys. Now come on, pull yourself together. You've got to speak before the Princeton alumni dinner in 1 hour. And remember, punctuality is the courtesy of kings. Woody. Dark blood spreads across his pupils like iron filings to a magnet every time he meets the least little resistance. He shrinks elephants into fleas and blows up fleas into elephants. If it weren't for me, he'd be a Captain Ahab.
The board has rejected my plan. Quad damn it!
You have done everything you could. You have even raised Princeton to the level of Harvard and Yale.
A messenger? Do I have a messenger?
You did have a messenger. I heard the bell ring. But where is it? I don't know.
Telegram, thank you very much. Thank you. New Jersey Democratic bosses are offering me governor.
God comes through again like Todd Cobb, our Georgia peach, in the bottom of the ninth.
Mrs. Wilson?
Just never know Mr. Tumulty, Colonel House, I do appreciate all your labors for Woodrow.
His campaign speeches for governor of New Jersey are unforgettable. They earned him the 1912 Democratic presidential nomination.
Mr. Tumulty, thank you so much for masterminding Woodrow's progressive landmark legislation.
His public utility regulation is very popular.
Yes, and his law sterilizing criminals is even more popular.
Now New Jersey's a model state.
Gentlemen, William Jennings Bryan, even though he lost a few elections, could still veto Wilson's presidency. He's here in prison, and I have invited him to dinner.
Mrs. Wilson, your charms draw more eyes than rainbows. Behind every successful man, there's a smarter and stronger wife.
You know, I like being around strong men. Men don't wear skirts, but I do wear the pants.
The aroma of your southern fried chicken is more alluring than the scent of red roses.
Mr. Bryan, I do admire everything your wife has done and enabled you to do.
And I admire everything you've enabled Woodrow to do.
And he's still the best presidential candidate. Your endorsement would mean so much to us. I could offer you any cabinet position.
It's a deal. Secretary of State. Ha!
Mary, I just love your Fifth Avenue penthouse. Location, location, location.
Princeton's only a heartbeat away. Our perfect tryst. You seem mighty glad to see me.
Well, your divorce is great news.
You've changed my world.
Oh, Mary, you're the apple of my eye. Our love is part of God's covenant.
You deliver those words like a poetic refrain.
Oh, my happiness depends on you. I love that dress.
I like my clothes tight enough to show I'm a woman, but loose enough to be a lady.
Oh, I can't resist you. You're my beautiful, wild child of nature, my perfect playmate. You make me drunk with happiness. If it's a sin to covet your love, I am the most sinning man alive. Helen, I'm home. There you are.
I found your love letters to Mary Peck in your beloved Gladstone biography.
Give it to me.
You scoundrel. You say the same thing to her you say to me. You treat all women like they're interchangeable.
It doesn't mean what it says.
You are not half the man you think you are. You're a man of high ideals and no principles, and I mean no principles.
It was folly.
You broke your marriage vows to God as well as to me. Mary Peck is part of the devil's covenant. She's not part of God's covenant.
Depends on the meaning of the word of.
First you insult my intelligence and then you steal our intimacy.
Oh, Mary. I mean, Helen. I'm speechless.
You're not half the man you think you are.
Well, you knew when you married me that I lacked wisdom and judgment. At least I'm not a bank clerk.
To think I squandered my painting career for you. That was the worst trade since Manhattan was sold by the Indians for trinkets and beads.
I'm grateful. everything you've done.
Adultery is a peculiar form of gratitude.
Well, I listened to the serpent like Eve.
Oh, you men are always blaming the women. You know what? We came this close to catching the White House, and what do? You ruin everything. I am sick and tired of being the only adult in this marriage.
I've headquartered the National Women's Party right across the street from the White House. From now on, we're point blank. Suffrage is the litmus test of the true progressive. Can you understand that, Mr. President?
Politics kills feminine charm.
Feminine charm shines brightest in the 9 western states where women have the vote.
Well, female voting destroys the family.
Family values flourish out west.
Currency reform is my priority, not recasting womanhood.
The Federal Reserve is good only for financing imperial wars and enriching too big to fail banks.
Women are not bound by laws made by legislatures who will deny us the vote.
Oh, my dears! You're revolutionaries!
I take that as a high compliment. My ancestors fought in our War of Independence. I fight in the struggle for the same rights for women. We'll win our freedom in spite of your opposition.
Never tell a woman she's wrong. I'm thrilled to be a progressive.
Words, words, words. I'm so sick of words.
Suffrage is a matter of federalism, and it must be decided state by state.
Suffrage is a moral issue. Suffrage will make America great.
I didn't run on suffrage. I represent only the platform my party won on.
Stop insulting our intelligence.
And stop insulting the office of the president. Suffrage is not worth 10 minutes. This meeting is over.
Democrats have enough votes in the Senate and the House to pass our amendment.
You would have drowned first at the Salem witch trials. I mean that respectfully, of course.
Such a charming man.
We will campaign against every Democrat until we win universal suffrage.
Women vote the same as men. You won't change anything.
Oh, that's a wonderful argument for disenfranchising men. Let's switch places.
Hark the sound of myriad voices rising in their might. 'Tis the sound of human freedom, hallowed liberty. Raise the flag and plant the standard, wave the signal still. Brothers, we must share your freedom, help us and we will. Oh, our neighbor's glorious nation, greatest of them all. Give unto thy daughters justice, or our pride will fall. Raise the flag and plant the standard, wave the signal still. Brothers, we must share your freedom, help us and we will.
Three guys go into a bar. A Jap, a kike, and a dog.
Mr. Trotter! Mr. Trotter! It's a pleasure to welcome you the first colored Phi Beta Kappa from Harvard to a Oval Office.
And what's wrong with segregation? The Supreme Court blesses separate but equal.
They enforce the separate, but ignore the equal. We're the untouchables.
I'm all in favor of progress. It's change I can't stand. Now, remember, it took 2 centuries to abolish slavery. You must be patient.
I refuse the drug of gradualism. The time has come to rise from the dark valley of segregation to a sunless path of racial justice.
Well, Jesus accepted slavery.
Our leadership celebrated you as a second Abraham Lincoln. And now, our followers denounce us as traitors.
That's blackmail. Politics has no race, has no place in politics.
Except when you want our votes.
Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, but segregation must be discussed factually and not emotionally.
Civil rights are sacred. You and your Dixie base are flouting the 15th Amendment, wholesale disenfranchisement, literacy tests, Klan lynchings. Make no mistake, our Constitution must be colorblind. All citizens should be equal before the law. The humblest is peer to the most powerful.
I can't stand your impertinence! Get out!
Mr. President, do you work for the Klan's imperial wizard? We need justice and receive injustice. We need the rule of law and receive mob violence. You should tremble before God. He is just, and his justice will not slumber forever.
You wait!
Woodrow, get a hold of yourself.
Sometimes I can't contain the volcanoes within me.
To win the next election, we have to court the colored vote, not alienate it. Screening D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation at the White House was a mistake. People say it's racist.
Oh, nonsense! That film writes history with life.
It glorifies the Ku Klux Klan.
The what?
The Ku Klux Klan.
My southern base comes first. Oh, Ellen, I've been blessed with 29 wonderful years with you. You can't leave me, not now.
You already left me for Mara Peck.
I ended the affair.
You tore a hole in my heart. I had to roll a stone over the wound, pretend it wasn't there. How else could I go on?
I haven't slept with her in years.
My heart bleeds a little bit every day.
I can't bear to hear you talk this way.
Our love exists on life support. It's half dead and half alive. I am dying from your ingratitude.
I thank God for you every day.
Well, then why do you write to Mary Peck every week?
I write about current affairs, so future historians will understand my thinking.
Why don't you just keep a diary like John Quincy Adams? Your adulthood is just letters as adultery by other means.
I owe my fame to you. Marriage to Mary Peck would be political suicide.
Speaking of politics, treating colored and women as second-class citizens does not make you a leader of mankind. And treating the Germans the way the Yankees treated us, don't do it. Don't let this war become your serpent. The money will be squandered. It could be better used for schools and roads and hospitals and bridges and the poor and the elderly.
God hasn't revealed his war plan to me. Not just yet.
Please, do not go into this war. You men have made such a mess of things. Don't go into the war.
I can't promise to break God's covenant.
You already did that with Mary Peck.
You're right. You convinced me.
I don't really believe you. You have a credibility gap. Dr. Grayson, wherever you are, follow my instructions. Minister to Woodrow's migraines and his eating disorders and his insomnia and his twitching and coughing and his strokes and his insatiable craving for glory. Have I forgotten anything?
Dr. Grayson, my worst migraine ever!
Soldiers to the war have gone, who may never return again. 10 million mothers' hearts must break for the one who died in vain. Heads bowed down in sorrow in her lonely ears. I heard a mother struggle through her tears. I didn't raise my boy to be a soldier. I brought him up to be my pride and joy. Who dared to put the musket on his shoulder to shoot the mother's darling boy. Let nations arbitrate their future troubles. It's time to put the sword and gun away. There'd be no war today if mothers all would say, I didn't raise my boy to be a soldier.
Solitaire has always been my favorite game. With Ellen gone, I play it day and night. I wish someone would kill me.
Don't say that. God elected you for a mortal work.
Heavens! After Moses, I thought God spoke only to me.
I live to please you. God sent me to replace Ellen as your other self.
Will you be as selfless?
I can't do enough.
I can trust you not to betray my confidences.
You're the wisest of the wise, the bravest of the brave, noblest of noblemen, gentlest of gentlemen.
I always fume over that little group of willful men who thwarted my college quad plan. Princeton would have leapfrogged Harvard and Yale.
Even with that handicap, you still put Princeton into a tie.
No, he who puts his hand on the plow and looks back is not fit for the kingdom of heaven.
Every day I thank God for the privilege of serving you.
Take the Lincoln bedroom. You can make a tax-deductible contribution later.
The Great War is the biggest upheaval since Jesus Christ. If you don't get involved, you won't receive a Nobel Peace Prize like President Roosevelt.
I can't let Woody surpass me.
I'll be your national security advisor.
Without pay, without acknowledgement.
We'll circumvent the Constitution. I'll never face Senate confirmation or oversight.
Secret diplomacy will be my stock in trade.
We'll keep Secretary of State Bryan in the dark.
That will prevent his resignation, a challenge to my re-election.
Better to have Bryan inside the tent, pissing out, than outside the tent, pissing in. I've mastered Woodrow's personality. A perfect Yahweh. Malignant narcissism. Fragile self-esteem. Invents facts. Vengeful towards the unworshipful. Infuriated by contradiction. Chronic temper tantrums. Self-reflection unimaginable.
Mr. President, dispatch this note to Downing Street. Demand freedom of the seas and respect for American neutrality.
Suppose the British persist.
Embargo food, the British go hungry. Embargo weapons, the British can't fight. We're holding a royal flush to their two clubs. Mr. Madison went to war with the cards reversed. You are provoking Germany to blow up our munitions factories and sink our armed merchant ships at sea. If you play our royal flush, Downing Street will fold.
Let me study your diplomatic note.
Thank you.
No one's dearer to my heart than you. Just wait until after the 1916 election to escalate into full-scale war against Germany.
I'll campaign on keeping us out of the war.
Every night, I dream that I'm in heaven, knowing that you are my president. William McKinley and Theodore Roosevelt got us into the empire game with the conquest of the Philippines. You can make America a world power.
My dozens of military interventions in Latin America and the Caribbean were a dress rehearsal. Here's Brian's note to London.
I'll see if the British ambassador approves.
Mr. President, did you send my Downing Street cable?
No.
Then I'll challenge you for the 1916 nomination.
Relax. We can't risk the special relationship.
Special relationship? Where is that in the Constitution?
I'll never win the Nobel Peace Prize if we embargo Britain.
Your oath is to the Constitution, not Great Britain.
You don't define American interests. I do. What's good for me is good for America.
And what's bad for the Constitution Mr. President, is bad for America because you don't define American interests. The Constitution does.
Lord George. How thrilling to direct an enterprise more powerful than the Royal Navy, the greatest propaganda campaign in the world.
And crucified Allied soldiers.
Nuns with breasts sliced off.
We've cut Germany's international cables to the United States.
Peddling fake news to America is capable.
We market war like soap.
The bloodiest war in all history, we advertise as the war to end war.
And we've asked Colonel House to work the advertisement into Wilson's speeches.
Oh, welcome, Colonel.
We were just praising you.
We've divvied up the Ottoman Empire.
The British Empire increases by 842,549 square miles.
And the French by 238,000 square miles.
4 to 1.
Well, not all allies are equally equal.
Keep it secret, or it'll ruin our propaganda.
We do appreciate your fake neutrality.
And vetting your diplomatic dispatches.
We've been arming, feeding, and funding you since the beginning.
You'll have to do more than that. Get a ticket to the peace table.
What's your admission price?
Millions of American soldiers.
That will break the stalemate for sure.
Woodrow must stop talking self-determination. The Irish might take it seriously.
And so do our subjects in India.
Even the Philippines might catch fire.
Be careful what you wish for, you might get it.
Don't worry. Woodrow will trade self-determination for a League of Nations.
We're recommending you for knighthood. In the meantime, here's a British pin of our appreciation.
Thank you, my lord.
Es fiel ein Reif in der Frühlingsnacht, der fiel auf die zarte Blühe. Sie sind verwelkt, ein Jüngling hatte ein Mägdlein lieb, sie flogen daheim von Hause fort. Es wusst's nicht wahr.
Mein Gott im Himmel. I'm heartbroken.
I found her lying beside her mother and her twin sisters. Only days before, she was nursing at the bosom of her loving Mutti. And now she's been starved to death by the cruel British blockade, presided over by Unser Cousin Georg.
Oh, Georg. Unser Cousin Georg. What ingratitude. You gifted Britain 8 generations of German monarchs. While Wilson moralizes about Undone. 1 million innocent Germans starved to death.
The British blockade is a war crime.
Neutral nations condemn it. Only Wilson is silent.
Even his own State Department disputes his view of international law.
Blockading Britain is proportionate retaliation. Yes, it satisfies international law.
While the British use surface weapons, We use submarines.
We even spared crews until the British started arming them, and British ships falsely fly American flags with impunity.
Wilson abandoned Americans in Mexico, but is willing to risk war to allow Americans to sail on British armed merchant ships in war zones.
We can bring Britain to its knees in 6 months. Your Majesty, lift submarine restrictions now.
Nuestro Gott, der du bist im Himmel, dein Reich soll sich endlich reich.
Gott,
Vergebe unsere Sünde.
Heavenly Father, hear our prayer. We acknowledge our shortcomings and ask only that you guide us and the Reich, the glorious victory. Give us this day a machine gun that can fire 10,000 rounds a minute. In thy infinite mercy, forgive each bullet that fails to hit its mark. And forget not thy children who cower in the trenches, but put them under our merciful hand so that we can end their suffering. Thy will be done. Lead us not into the temptation of being too gentle in our wrath, pursuing your divine judgment. Deliver us from the evil one. For thine is the power and the glory. Deutschland.
Im Namen des Vaters und des Sohnes und des Heiligen Geistes. Amen.
Herr General, the military is always overpromising. The von Schlieffen plan had us in Paris by now. So, 9. Discretion is the better part of valor.
Southern belle. Edith, you're the apple of my eye. Our love is part of God's covenant.
Did you rehearse those lines? They sound memorized.
Oh, you're the perfect antidote to the world's loneliest job.
Marriage to power is a woman's aphrodisiac.
I'm late for a cabinet meeting. I'll share everything with you when I get back.
Your husband's chronic depressions are very concerning.
Do you have a remedy?
You're it. But remember, he's a 600 horsepower motor on a frail chassis.
Perhaps if you had been his physician up in Princeton, you might have prevented his stroke and paralysis. I do love to dominate him on the golf course. With his 40 handicap, I'm coasting to victory after the 3rd hole.
What happiness you give me. When I look in your eyes, I feel like shouting for the joy and strength that's within me.
How sweet that you need me so much. You're my tiger.
It's bliss to be in your arms. I share my heart only with you. We are inseparable Virginians running the world.
Brian would overdose on a piece or a grape juice. Fire him! And while you're at it, fire Tumulty too.
What did he do?
He lacks breeding.
Well, because he wasn't raised like us, he's deft at handling my diverse visitors.
He's a crypto pseudo-hyphenated American craving Irish independence. Colonel House's flattery conceals his vaulting ambition. Our intimacy forecloses all others.
You make my heart sing at heaven's gate.
Americans drowned.
What did you expect, Mrs. Wilson? The German government posted this warning in 50 British newspapers for weeks on end. Let me read it to you and Mr. Wilson. Notice, travelers, please be warned that vessels flying the British flag are liable to destruction in waters adjacent to the British Isles.
Your mother was right. Germany will destroy Western civilization. Britain's fight is our fight. Time for you to be Gladstone. Go to war.
American passengers can't be used to shield British munitions from attack. You're going to get us into a war.
American passengers must have the right to travel anywhere, any way they like. That right is more sacred than due process.
We should pass a law prohibiting American passengers from traveling on ships of warring nations. Only a tiny fraction of wealthy Americans would be impacted. You are a selective humanitarian. You have a heart of stone for those German children starved by the illegal British blockade.
Only a disloyal, hyphenated American would say that. Some people say you're on the Kaiser's payroll.
The Lusitania was a British ship, not an American ship. Sunk in a war zone, not on the high seas.
Oh, that's fake news.
A torpedo that hit the hull where the British munitions were stored. That's why the ship sunk instantly.
Oh, give me alternative facts.
You are provoking the submarine attacks with your support of Britain's illegal European blockade. Well, let me see your diplomatic note to Berlin.
Unless Germany pays reparations, I am breaking diplomatic relations.
That's it. I won't be complicit in starving innocent women and children. Here, sir, is my resignation.
Washington and Lincoln. They never even dreamed of saving mankind. There's a British Empire, too, in its spotlight.
Everyone has at least one skeleton in his closet. Before I can make America great, I must stop Mary Peck from selling my intimate letters to her, to the Republicans.
The 1916 election is only 13 months away.
Here is $7,000.
Isn't that all your savings?
She's broke. Give her the money. We can't risk delay.
Thank God there's no campaign finance law.
Hey, boy, we just scraped by.
By the skin of your teeth. If Mary Peck had sold her letter, there would be no second chance.
If I hadn't campaigned on he kept us out of the war, I'd be a one-term president.
The Germans have resumed unrestricted submarine warfare.
Well, I'll ask Congress to issue a declaration of war.
Colonel, in 128 years, Congress has never initiated a war. Madison, Holt, and McKinley asked Congress to recognize that foreign aggression had ended peace. We must do likewise.
You are right. The American people are not clamoring for war, and Congress won't declare war against Germany. Its members are a bunch of Labrador retrievers.
We'll just say that Germany initiated war against us.
When I look in your eyes, it gives me the strength to fight for Germany.
Deuteronomy 32. God says, I kill.
I wound.
I will make mine arrows drunk with blood.
And my sword shall devour the flesh. For 3 long years, my offer to mediate was scorned. Here is my will speech.
Oh, my darling, I'm thrilled to be a part of God's covenant. You're brilliant. The world's greatest man. More worshipped, more respected, more admired. Our greatest war president.
Heavenly Father, hear our prayer. We acknowledge our shortcomings and ask thy help in leading thy chosen people to glorious victories. Give us this day a machine gun that can fire 10,000 rounds a minute, and in thy merciful patience forgive each bullet that misses its mark. Forget not thy children that hide from us in the trenches, and bring them under our merciful hand, that we may end their suffering. Lord, thy will be done. Lead us not into the temptation of letting our wrath be too gentle in carrying out thy divine judgment. Deliver us from the evil one, for thine is the American kingdom.
Johnny, get your gun. Get your gun. Get your gun.
Take it on the run, on the run, on the run. Hear them calling you and me, every son of liberty.
Hurry right away. Go today, no delay.
Make your daddy glad to have had such a lad. Tell your sweetheart not to pine, to be glad your boy's in line. Over there, over there. Send the word over there. That the Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming. The drum, drum, drumming everywhere.
Send a prayer, send a prayer, send the word over there. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over there.
Stop! Stop! You blocks! You stones! You worse than senseless things! Over there exalts war, yet it excites you more than anything else. The Republic will be annihilated if mothers raise standing armies.
The Constitution is a museum piece. Your separation of powers keeps me off Mount Rushmore. I can't save the world if Congress is the first branch of government.
You deceived the American people for 2.5 years. Like a tuba, you blared neutrality while you moved heaven and earth to help the Triple Entente.
I am the proud father of presidential wars.
You've been a field marshal to the British. Arms, loans, fake news, blacklisting American firms, intercepting American mail, cutting German cables, interdicting Southern cotton, Midwestern meat, and Western copper.
Claiming neutrality enabled me to maneuver Congress in giving me a declaration of war.
If I were president in 1914, I would have issued an ultimatum to Britain for flagrant violations of our neutrality. If Britain persisted, I would have asked Congress to declare a state of war as I did in 1812. I'd have dispatched Eddie Rickenbacker to bomb Big Ben.
God's covenant trumps the Constitution. My allegiance is to all mankind.
You spiked the national debt from $1 billion to $30 billion, the greatest spending spree in the history of the nation. And you paid a stiff price for machine guns, tanks, and fighter bombers with unbuilt schools, unrepaired roads, unconstructed bridges.
Hyphenated Americans pour the poison of disloyalty into their nation's arteries.
According to Teddy Roosevelt, to stand by the president, right or wrong, is not only unpatriotic and servile, but morally treasonous.
My espionage and sedition acts make the not yet guilty criminals. I am proud to have imprisoned more dissenters than your John Adams.
You carry the disease that necessitated my vaccine.
Separation of powers is the worst idea in history.
How do you plead?
Not guilty.
Hooray! The not yet guilty are the worst offenders.
Not
Women should be seen and not heard.
Not guilty. Hooray!
Order!
We're political prisoners.
Political prisoners. Political prisoners. Political prisoners.
Stop! You're bordering on contempt.
Petitioning is legal under the First Amendment.
Hooray!
Order!
You're punishing free speech.
Wilson's a hypocrite.
Hooray! Kaiser Wilson, have you forgotten your being upset about Germans because they didn't have self-determination? 20 million American women don't have self-determination.
Silence! Guilty! Guilty! 7 months in jail.
Rise
up, women, for the fight is hard and long. Rise up in the thousands, singing o'er the battle song. Right is might, and in strength we shall be strong, and the cause goes marching on. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. Glory, glory, hallelujah. And the cause goes marching on.
Sleep deprivation, the Wilson administration's most effective interrogation technique.
You will not stop our
hunger strike. We won't eat until women get the vote.
The hunger strike will go on.
And we'll force feed you.
My dear boys, broke the European scale. Against the advice of all my advisors, I come to Paris as a Messiah. Through me, God defeated Germany to enthrone the consciousness of the world. The savagery of something surrenders to the dignity of righteousness. History's supreme moment has arrived. Join the sword of peace, American boys, and leave them up on French soil. As a timeless reminder of their selfless devotion in lifting the burden of mankind. Their sacrificed voice like a ruddy finger to heaven. The ancient Hebrews, virgins of God's chosen people. Oh, glory lies to the flag of humanity. The League of Nations culminates Werther's long journey from existence. War is a thing of the past.
I was elected president of France because I asked to be buried standing up facing Germany. And you were elected Prime Minister of Great Britain because you understand the greatness of war.
Well, great for our expanding empires.
Well, great for expanding our executive powers, huh?
Well, that is why they call it the Great War.
Well, I'm just glad that Woodrow didn't listen to his General Pershing, eh?
Woodrow had 4 million soldiers. All the money. He could have marched directly to Berlin and laid down his famous peace without victory.
Well, Woodrow lost all influence with Germany's unconditional surrender.
How are we going to repay Woodrow's 10 billion in war loans?
Well, we use voodoo economics to mask our debt, and then we force the Germans to sign a war guilt clause and make them pay our debt with their reparations.
Yes, let's squeeze them until their hips squeak.
As you know, they don't call me the tiger for nothing.
And is that why you always wear gloves?
To hide my claws, Yes, well, let's get down to business, shall we? 1.3 million Frenchmen dead.
And nearly 1 million Empire casualties.
You only lost 116,000.
Proportionate to population, our losses are 30 times yours.
We need Lebensraum. We must dismember Germany.
10% of its population.
And 13% of its territory. Alsace-Lorraine, And we'll give Western Germany to Belgium,
And German Bohemia can be, say, a Czechoslovakia.
But that's 3 million Germans.
Don't they get self-determination?
Let's...
What, the same self-determination you give your Redskins?
Yes, let's leave the League out of the treaty.
No, you can't do that.
Well, then, let's take Eastern Germany and give it to Poland, all 2 million Germans.
Don't forget Denmark, and Italy. Well, the Italians need Germans too,
Let's exclude Germany from the League the way we excluded those bastards from the negotiations.
Thank God for my League of Nations. Otherwise, Germany would seek revenge.
Announcing Alice Roosevelt and Senator Lodge.
Mrs. Roosevelt.
Great to see you. Hurrah! The Democrats have lost control of both chambers.
Thank God the midterm elections occurred only days before the war ended with the armistice. Otherwise, the Democrats would still be in control.
The voters so thoroughly repudiated Wilson when he foolishly insinuated that we Republicans are traitors.
As the new Senate Majority Leader, I'll wield the Constitution to defeat Woodrow's Versailles Treaty.
Thanks to that great little Madison who put the Senate into the driver's seat.
Oh, Mr. President, may I help you carry the treaty?
Not on your life.
I'm Madison's sentinel, guarding separation of powers. The treaty is unconstitutional. Only Congress can take the nation to war. We can't let the League take us to war over every disputed boundary in a far-off country whose people we know not.
This calls only for a moral obligation.
Well then, perhaps you should accept my reservation, which reads, the Congress, under the Constitution, has the sole authority to declare war and take the nation to war.
I don't do reservations.
116,000 American boys fought for humanity and gave their lives for Woodrow's League of Nations.
No, they fought under the Stars and Stripes.
They willed to the Star-Spangled Banner.
And they sang, God bless America.
The heart of the world beats with this sacred document.
But the heart of America beats in our Constitution.
The League Treaty is badly written.
Soap bubbles of oratory and souffles of phrases.
It might get an A at Princeton, but an elf at Harvard.
You wish to float to heaven on a sea of mush. You're no Christ.
You're the Antichrist.
I feel like I've wandered into the Mad Hatter's tea party.
Mr. President, I have the votes, except the league with my reservation, or no league.
Not on your life. I will take my case to the American people.
You already did that and lost. Now it's my turn to pass judgment on you. A Wilsonian America will never replace a Madisonian America on my watch.
You couldn't convince the Senate to surrender the war power to the President or League of Nations. So you whistle-stopped across the continent, sermonizing to the same voters who repudiated your war gospel in the midterms. A stroke brought you to the brink of death. You preferred crucifixion and acceptance of my vaccine.
Madison, James Madison, God damn your separation of powers. God damn your declare war clause. My League of Nations would have prevented war forever by summoning the moral courage of the world.
The Sermon on the Mount has never stopped a single war. No land is more blood-stained than the Holy Land.
I was created and put on earth to lead all of mankind to salvation.
The Versailles Treaty was just halftime before World War II. Your war to end war begot a peace that ended peace. You seduced Germany by magnanimity to secure an armistice. Then you endorsed a Carthaginian peace to attain immortality. Your stab in the back created Adolf Hitler.
Being right makes process and institutions irrelevant. Your self-doubting constitution frustrates great men like me.
No man can be trusted with limitless power. Peace and liberty are its first casualties. To protect the 99%, my war vaccine aborts self-proclaimed great men like you.
I'm awed by my saintliness. Why aren't you?
The Constitution's Declare War Clause has saved more lives, prevented more misery than all of the medical profession from the beginning of time. Your hero, Lord Gladstone, effused that my Constitution was the most wonderful work ever struck off by the brain and purpose of man. By denying the president the war power, the Republic set the gold standard for civilization. It radiates peace and prosperity.
Give me the Constitution. You're a relic. In the Wilsonian century, each president will make his office into a bigger war room. The commander-in-chief will be enthroned by history's greatest military as the supreme warlord of the earth. Some people burn books. I burn the American Constitution. Citizens will not know a single day of peace. America will garrison every continent with military bases. Mankind will cower under predator drones and citizens under NSA blanket surveillance. The national debt will soar.
When you put your hand on the Bible, you swore to uphold the Constitution, not burn it.
I uphold God's covenant. America will replace Britain as leader of the world. The Republican and Democratic parties will reject your beloved separation of powers and enthusiastically build my imperial presidency. Congress will gleefully flee from accepting responsibility and acquiesce in endless presidential wars. I'll be celebrating under the banner of bringing and promoting democracy abroad, and you will be completely forgotten. I will totally erase your great republic from the public memory. The Wilsonian century will live for the ages.
Infinite narcissism blinds you. Infinite narcissism blinds you. You have undone our great republic, lost the last best hope on earth. You, sir, are to the Constitution what Julius Caesar was to the Roman Republic. Dante's 10 circles of hell shall be your final resting place. And from today until the end of time, Madisonians shall be remembered in the hearts and minds of noble women and noble men. The North Star to navigate to the better angels of our nature. Whether or not that lofty destination is reached, the voyage shall have ennobled the earth. It is for us, the living, to determine whether paradise lost is succeeded by paradise regained. We dare not fail to try.
Are you finished?